Howdy cowboys and cowgirls, hope you guys are having a wonderful day because I know I am, because we are back with another new video that's designed to help newer players stay alive much longer and not lose the game for your teammates. My name is Stray, and after watching this video, expect your deaths to decrease by up to 50% if you fix these mistakes. If you watch and understand these concepts fully, you'll be a pro in no time. I guarantee it. For our question of the day, I want to ask you, how do you feel about the operator in Valorant? To me, the movement and scoping feels a little clunky compared to CSGO, where it's much harder to play closer up as well as sniping on attack. Also in Valorant, when you scope in, you don't hear the scope like you do in CSGO. So it's hard to know if snipers are watching an angle or not, and you get sniped when you're trying to dry peek an angle. Let us know your thoughts in the comment sections below. And with that being said, hold on to your hats because we are riding straight into this one. The first common mistake that I see a lot, even in my games, is that a lot of players don't know when to use their abilities. I see people just randomly throw and waste their abilities for no reason other than they just feel like it. If you're not getting any cues such as footsteps or abilities coming to you, don't use your abilities. An example I would use would be defending mid on the map Split as Sage. Wait for enemy presence mid before walling it off, or understand that enemies can walk the whole way up to mid in around 10 or so seconds after the buy barrier comes down. Walling at 1 minute and 30 would be your safe bet unless you have somebody peeking from vent room. If you have information from your teammate that no one is there, there should be no reason to put your wall up this early. If they aren't mid, great. Mid control is essential on Split for both teams, so save your wall. If they are mid and decide to break the wall you placed just previously, wait until you hear footsteps that sound like they are running up close to you before you throw your slow orb. After patch 0.5, Sage's slow orb lasts 7 seconds, so remember that you don't need to throw another one for at least 7 seconds. You can peek a little bit into your slow orb's area of effect, as enemies caught in it will be at a disadvantageous position with the 50% slow. If you don't see anything, fall back and wait for more cues before you throw your second orb, such as the enemy smoking or walling off vent room, but still, don't be afraid to use your utility. There's a difference between wasting it and using it slightly wrong. Just always remember each ability has its place and time. If you waste your abilities at the start of the round, you might be losing out on a more opportune time to use it later in the round. For number 2, the next big mistake is making too much noise. Just like anything in life, knowledge is power. Knowing where your enemies are coming from and being prepared for it is crucial. You never want to give out information to your opponents for free or early into a game before an execution onto a bomb site. By constantly running everywhere, you're giving your opponents free information on where you are and where you're headed, which is a big no. If you're watching a certain angle and you think it's clear and you decide to run and group with your teammates to hit a bomb site, you just might have cost your team the round. Most likely there was an enemy position in a spot where you couldn't see but could hear your footsteps. With the information that you gave running away, they can deduce which bomb site your team is hitting and either stack it or start flanking the area in which you just left. If you're having trouble with this concept, Riot has implemented something to help on your minimap. When you're running away, a white circle displays up to where people can hear your footsteps from. So always pay close attention to the minimap where you think enemies are playing and make sure they can't hear you when you are running. I definitely advise you to walk if you're unsure of the situation at hand. We got a simpler mistake for number 3, which is resetting your recoil after a spray. You have probably noticed a lot of times that you start shooting and you don't want to let go even if you are whiffing everything. If you are newer to the game, you are more inclined to do this in panic. This mechanic is known as spray and pray, with extra emphasis on the pray. If you start spraying and you realize it's going wild after like 10 bullets, take your time to reset it. The reason your spray is going wild could possibly be because of your crosshair placement or spray control. If you need any help with that, check out our aim guide in the link below, or come talk to a coach on ProGuides.com in the link below if you haven't scoped out the website already. This is the place to go for players that are dedicated, motivated, and want to improve to be the best they can be in the video game they desire. We have a brand new feature called InstaPro, which provides unlimited 24/7 on-demand coaching from the best of the best. If you want to see huge gains to your elo and understand why you're losing games, find a coach you like and get started today. Coming in number 4 is map callouts. If you're new, we forgive you for this one, but for any players not new to the game, you should know the map callouts like the back of your hand. callouts are information relayed to the team through communication, like where enemies are positioned and where they are going. Like I said, information is key in tactical shooters. We recommend that before you hop into something like rank, you learn as many of the common callouts as you can so you aren't clueless when your teammate is making a callout. Make sure to pay attention to callouts in-game and also be giving callouts to your teammates to improve your chances of winning. Coming in at number 5, we have peeking angles. This is for players that aren't too well versed in CSGO, and the problem is you're peeking too gosh darn wide. This is a fundamental principle you should always apply when you can, which is not swinging too wide on a peek. I want to preface this by saying sometimes wide swinging can be good in certain scenarios, but mainly you don't want to do it if you don't know where your enemies are. It makes you a lot easier to hit if you are holding down any of the WASD keys for too long when peeking in an angle. It should be single burst taps of A and D when peeking. Tap, release, tap, release, tap, release. You get the point. If you really want to improve, you have to learn how to stutter peek angles, as it's optimal to gain accuracy by stopping before shooting and also exposing the least amount of your body to as many angles as possible. If you're wondering why you died, it's probably because you swung too wide. Number 6 is something I think we are all aware of, but nobody wants to talk about. It's not watching your flank. This is normally for the attacking side, but defense sometimes messes this up by rotating too fast. For this one, you have to pay attention to your minimap. Make sure your team is spread across the map, watching different angles for pushes. Just like the defending side, you want people to be spread out across the map, taking map control. Ideally, on both sides, you want to set up something called a default, where everybody is holding an area of the map to watch out for pushes. The problem is more prevalent on the attacking side when all the attackers group up together. This is okay sometimes, but it will lead to your team getting flanked. If you see parts of the map where your teammates are not watching, be sure to cover your teammates back while your teammates are doing their thing. Number 7 is all about holding angles. In a game like Valorant, you have to know how to hold an angle. This is something that I messed up all the time in the beginning. When you're holding an angle, always try to keep your crosshair at head level. If you are not hearing any noise, it is better to hold your crosshair closer to the wall because they will probably walk into your angle. If you hear footsteps and expect a running wide peek, hold your crosshair further away from the angle you are holding. This is something we talk about greater in depth on the aiming guide. If you would like to check it out, it is in the description below. The mistake that accompanies holding angles is players not knowing angle advantage. If you have a problem clearing certain spots of the map and it always seems like you're getting shot before you get a clear shot at them, you're probably at an angle disadvantage. This might be a complex idea for newer players, but if you're peeking an angle and you're extremely close to the cover you're peeking from, like a box or a wall, your body is going to show before you can see the enemy. You want to create some distance from the cover you're peeking out of so that, due to perspective, your body won't be exposed before you see the enemy. Get very familiar with angle advantage because it is key to winning a lot of fights in Valorant. The 9th game losing mistake is being too greedy with your ultimate or holding it for too long. Have you ever had situations in which you haven't ultied once in a single half? If you have, then it means you aren't impacting the game with your ultimate. The ultimate ability is exactly like the name implies. It's an ultimate game changer with what it can do. The faster you can get it and the faster you find situations where you can use it effectively, it will help you get a better ult economy. Ult economy is when, after you use your ultimate ability, you can start building it up again, as opposed to if you held onto it, you wouldn't be able to build stacks until you've ultied. You're essentially wasting your ult economy if you get kills while your ulti is up. If you can get 3 to 4 ultimates in a half, you best believe you're dominating the game. Remember not to just randomly use your ulti, but rather be more proactive and put yourself in situations where you can utilize it more effectively when it's up. And last but not least, we have not knowing how to build a proper team composition. As much as I know how fun Jett and Raze are, insta-locking it all the time will not help your team to win. A well-balanced team composition filled with a variety of utility will ultimately increase your chances of winning tenfold. Choosing something like an all-duelist comp with no Sage and no smokes is a sure way to lose. Remember to do your part and fill the role your team needs when needed. A good example of a balanced team composition would be something like Sage, Brim, Cypher, Raze, and Breach. You have a nice mixture of utility with Brimstone's smokes, Sage's heals, intel gathering with Cypher, and a lot of damage with Raze's kit. On top of that, you have engaged potential with Breach's flash and stuns. This could be mixed up by adding characters with entry ability like either Phoenix or another intel gatherer like Sova. You would probably take out either Raze or Cypher, as both Cypher and Sova fill the same role, as well as Raze and Phoenix. Cypher is a lot better on defense and Sova vice versa on offense, so you can decide what playstyle you're looking for. I know sometimes teammates are a bit selfish on what to play, but if you're looking for the best chance to win, I recommend learning some of the most meta agents right now, like Sage, Brimstone, or Cypher. These are probably your best bet to ensure you have the best advantage going into the game. Whew, well, that was a lot covered, don't you think? Anyways, thank you so much Pro Guides family for staying with us and watching our videos. Hopefully after watching this, you have a better understanding why you've been dying and losing games. With all the knowledge you have received, you're ready on your path to be a pro. If you like what you saw, please consider supporting us by commenting, and subscribing to catch us on our next video. As always, best of luck to you agents and go get 'em. Straight out.